In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a 1-minute skateboarding video just like this one.
What makes a skateboarder a skateboarder?
I think it would be all his perspective on whether or not he's a skateboarder. He could be a fan of skateboarding or an actual skateboarder.
If you put in enough time to learn how to do pretty proper kickflip or decent kickflip, that means you really committed some real hours to this. In my heart, in my mind, I think that makes you a skater.
I think you have to have a love for it.
I love skateboarding, it's my life. Just be stubborn and keep trying to push it. You're a skater. Extreme joy, and he has nothing to gain from it other than just the joy of it.
Are you a skateboarder out there? What makes a skateboarder a skateboarder?
Alright, in this video we're going to learn how to make a 1-minute commercial called What Makes a Skateboarder a Skateboarder. So this is supposed to be for a company called Spitfire Skateboard Wheels. You're going to create a lifestyle commercial to appeal to skateboarders. The length is going to be 1 minute. The format, you can either make it vertical like for cell phones, or you can do horizontal as long as you are consistent. So in the slides that I'm giving to you, you're going to have these resource links here. At the very top we have download stock skateboarding video clips. So you can go on there and find clips that you like. Then I have this track here that you're going to use to extract the dialogue. So this was a YouTube video that I found that had these three guys, and they were talking about skateboarding and skateboarders, and I just want to use some of their dialogue in there. So you're going to download that video and pull the audio out of it and chop it up. Then I have the Spitfire logo for you, and then you're going to find some background and skateboarding sound effects and ambient noises here, and then you're going to pick your own music. So you'll be responsible for coming up with the overall mood of this project by how fast you edit clips together, how many you have, how your music, if it's soft music or fast music. So you get to have some creative leeway in this project. So when you download all of your video clips and your audio clips that you're going to use and the graphics from these links that I've given you, make sure that you organize them. Everything should be in one folder. See, I have this folder here, skateboarding video, and I'm putting my audio clips in a folder, my graphics, and all my skateboarding video clips. You need to have everything in one place, and then when you create your Adobe Premiere project, you're going to save it in that folder too. So remember, everything needs to be all together, because if you go moving things around after you start your project, then you're going to get a bunch of media offline warnings, and it's going to, mess up your workflow a lot. So I'm going to make a new project here, and I'm going to title it Skateboarding, and my project location, like I just talked about, you're going to go choose location. I have mine on my desktop, and skateboarding video, and choose. So make sure you save your project in the same folder as all your assets for that project. And then just go ahead and press create. The first thing we want to do, as always, is make sure that we all are using the same workspace. So I'm going to go up to Window, Workspace. I have one saved as Julie's workspace, but it was basically the production workspace. And then I'm going to, for now, I don't need these out, but I'll open them later. I'm going to close the essential graphics and essential sound for now. And then I like to have this pretty simple workspace where I have my source monitor, and let me move this over, my program monitor, which shows the final piece. And then we have our project down here where I'm going to start importing my media that I'm going to use. So the first clip that I'm going to import and work with in my skateboarding video is this audio clip called Extract Dialogue here. So there's two ways we can go about this. You can drag the audio or drag this video into your timeline here, and we want to separate the audio and video, because you can see here that I have video that I don't want. I don't want these guys in here. I'm only going to have videos of people skateboarding, but I want to use some of their dialogue. So there's two ways I can go about that. I can right click on this and say unlink, and then it allows me to click on the audio and the video, and I can just delete the video, and now I'm left with an audio track. So that's one way to do it. That's how I usually do it, but I also want to show you how they do it. I think sometimes on the certification exam they want you to know how to do it this way too. If you double click on your, if I double click on the extract dialog MP4 here, and I have it in the source monitor, you can, let me fast forward this a little bit. Yeah, so I have it up here. See these two little symbols here? This is the video, this is the audio. You can drag this into your timeline and you can choose which one you want. So for instance, I want just the audio. So if I click on this little waveform symbol down here, I can get just the audio, whoops, and then I can drag that down on my timeline and have just the audio. So as you know, down here, the A tracks, those are the audio, and V tracks are video. So the next thing I'll do here, now that I have my audio in here, is I want to start chopping it up. I'm going to do that off camera because it's really boring, but I'm going to go through and find things that I like what they're saying and cut out those pieces and get rid of the parts that I don't want to hear. So first I'm going to do plus to zoom in so I can see the waveforms, and also if you double click there, it opens it up so you can see bigger where the waveforms are. And I'm just going to chop up what I want and don't want. So I'll just show you how you do that, but I'm going to do the off camera to be really specific about what I want. But let's say right here is where I want to chop the audio. If you get this razor tool right here and I put my time indicator in the spot I want to cut it, you can just click on it and it cuts it like that. So let's say that I don't want that beginning part, then I can get my selection tool and click on it and then just delete it. And let's say I want just what he says right there. I'll move the time indicator over there. I get my razor tool and I cut it, and the selection tool, and then I can move it off to the, then I can move it off to the side. So when I'm done, I'm gonna have all these little pieces where there's just a sentence here and there, and I'll figure out how to arrange them later. But anyway, that is how you can cut up, import your audio track and cut it up for future editing. So I've gone in and deleted and sliced up with the razor tool all the audio that was in that thing that we imported, and got rid of everything that I didn't want because there's a lot of babbling and I just want to keep some of the clips. I'll play through some of them here for you so you can hear.
What makes a skater? What makes a skateboarder a skateboarder? What makes a skateboarder a skateboarder?
I probably won't use all three of those, but at least a couple of them. And then let me fast forward through and hear this one.
Learns how to ollie, kickflip, do a couple tricks. He could pick up a board and do a kickflip. Does that make him a skateboarder?
I think it would be all his perspective on whether or not he's a skateboarder. He could be a fan of skateboarding or an actual skateboarder.
All right, so you get the idea. I've just saved some of the clips that I think that will be usable, and I just deleted everything else. So if you click in some of these areas here and you want to get rid of that space, by the way, if you right click in there and you get this ripple delete, it will delete that whole space and move everything forward. So I'm going to right click on all the big spaces. I'll leave the little ones in there, and I'll ripple delete these so that I have them all closer together. All right, so another thing you can do to close all these gaps, besides right clicking and doing the ripple delete, you can just do Control A to select all of them, and then go up to Sequence menu and just say Close Gap. And then that will bring them all together. So the next thing I want to do is start importing all of the video clips that I downloaded, and there's a couple different ways you can do that. You can go up here and go File, Import, or you can click Import right here. I just like to double click in the project window. That's how I normally import stuff. So if I just double click there, it brings me to where I can bring in my video clips. So I'm going to go here to my skateboarding video clips, and I'm going to shift click and put all of those in there and click Import, and you can see that they put them over here in my project window. So about this project window, there's a couple different ways you can look at it. Right now I have it in list view. So if you see these little icons at the bottom, you can change the view. You can also have them so you have thumbnails You can make them really big thumbnails, or you can make them really small. And there's also a freeform thing that lets you drag the, it lets you drag the clips around and move them around however you want. So yeah, that's how you can use the project window to organize your clips. So I'm gonna bring in all of these clips and just dump them all on my timeline, and I'll rearrange them and decide what I want to keep and not keep after I go ahead and place them on the timeline. So I selected all of my video clips, and I'm gonna click over here and just drag. So I needed to interrupt my video just for a second to show you when I was dragging these clips in, those three in the middle have an audio clip already attached to them. And if I would have dropped them right there, they would overwrite the audio that I already have. So when you see the video start back up, you'll notice that I pulled them up to a track above that one, and that way it pushed the other audio track below the other one instead of going on top of the audio that I already had. Some of them have audio, so I'm going to delete the audio on those clips there. So let me select this and right click it and just say unlink, and then it lets me delete the audio. So right click, unlink, delete the audio, and delete the audio. So one thing I want to do before I get too far into my editing is to put a marker on here to let me know where my 1 minute mark is, so I know visually how long I need to let my video go. If you go up here to this playhead, you can change the time up here. So this second group of numbers is the minutes. So I want it to be 1 minute. So this is hours, this is minutes, this is seconds, and this is frames. So I want my video to end at 1 minute. So it put the, if I press enter there, it will move the playhead to the 1 minute mark, and then I can go up here, right there, and I can click add marker. So that way I know exactly where I want my video to end. So you can see I'm still gonna have to shorten up my clips quite a bit to make it fit in the 1 minute mark, but this really helps to have a marker. If you ever need to edit the markers, you can just double click them. You can name it. So I can call this end. You can change the color if you want. You can make it a comment marker, chapter, anything you want. So I'm just going to leave that there and call it end and say okay. So when I copied all these video clips in here, I've noticed that many of them are different sizes. I have some that are 1920 by 1080, which that's the resolution I want to do my video in, but some of them are much bigger. So if I hover my mouse over this clip here and just leave it for a second, it gives me some information about that clip. So I can see on that very top line, it's a lot bigger than what I want. This one is 1920 by 1080. You know, and this one is a lot bigger. And you can also tell because I have my time indicator over here, and I can see that it's cropped. It's only showing part of the video, and I want it to be, all my clips to be the same size. So the reason why my video is 1920 by 1080 is that very first clip that I brought in here and put in here that had the audio in it, that one was 1920 by 1080. So whatever clip that you put in first, it kind of makes Premiere make the video that you're creating that size of the very first clip. So if I would have put this clip in first before anything else, it would have made my whole project that big. So anyway, I want to change those. So I'm going to right click on that clip, and you can just go over here and say scale to frame size. And then you can see it made it, you know, fit into my window. So I'm going to do that with all these ones that are too big. Just right click on it and set to frame size. Let me move my time indicator over here so you can see it. And then same with this one, it's too big, so I'm gonna right click and say set to frame size. All these that are too big, right click and set to frame size. So make sure that you go in and do that to all the videos that you have. If you hover over it and it's not 1920 by 1080, just go ahead and make them smaller. So there's a couple different ways where I can shorten all these video clips I have to fit in this time right here. I'm trying to get everything down to 1. So what you can do, like normally if you click this and you have the selection tool, of course you can go in here and you can make all these clips a lot shorter, and you can move them. That is one option of doing it. Or if you make them shorter and you want them to be pushed together, you can right click in that space and do ripple delete. But the other tool that I want to show you, it's called the ripple edit tool, right? It looks like this in your toolbar, ripple edit. What that does, it lets you click and slide everything down and it moves everything with it. Now sometimes if you have audio, it doesn't let you do it. So let's say I'm trying to move this down and see it feels like it's stuck. It took me a while to figure this out why it wouldn't work. But if I go in here and I just lock my audio track so that it can't be edited, then it lets me pull this and make it shorter. Now notice when I drag it shorter, it moves everything closer together. So it automatically does the rippling for you so that you don't have those spaces. So like I said before, you can just click on one of your clips and just drag it like that and then have this empty space and then move everything. Or you can right click there and do ripple delete. But it's good to use this tool here, the ripple edit tool, and pull everything closer together.